Shubhra,
Right.
welcome to the Nifty Travel Podcast.
Thank you, Alex, for having me. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Hmm. And me too. So, one of the things I always like to ask my guests is what your earliest memories of travel are.
So in India, it's very traditional that in especially in 90s when I was born, my parents don't take you for vacations. They'll take you for temples. So they'll take you to see different kinds of temples in different places. So that was my first memory of travel, where my parents took me to temples in mountains, and I was fascinated by it. And I always wanted to have a window seat. I would fight with my twin brother to sit on the window, and I won't sleep at all during the travel because I want to see everything. So that was my earliest memory. And
Well, yes, I can see that would have almost an instant effect on you. Um, so, do you like moving then? Do you think that's
yeah,
something?
that is the only thing that keeps me sane. So I'm a person who can't sit still. So I have to keep moving to keep myself sane and to keep myself excited to live. So that's like in my DNA now.
Yeah, because one of the things I couldn't help but notice about you is that you went on a train journey, a very long train
Yeah.
journey. Um,
So,
so tell me how that came about.
so I actually went on two different train journeys that actually changed the course of my life. First was Jagriti Yatra. It's a social entrepreneur program where you have to travel for 15 days in a train with 500 strangers, and you have to keep attending these events on every place. And it takes you around India in 15 days. And it was really fascinating to meet so many people from so many different cultures. And it was my first exposure to India, to actually going out of your state to see other parts of India. And it blew my mind that I live in this beautiful country and I must go and travel. Then my first job, it was a project of 6 months. It was called Science Express. You can Google about it. And it's an exhibition train about India. Every bogie is uh, made in a way that it represents some part of India. And I was in the crew that manages the train, and we traveled for 6 months to 57 cities and almost every state of India. And it was one of the most thrilling experiences of my life. Although it was a tough job because we didn't had a holiday for 6 months, but I got to see so much of India, and I got to like I used to sit on in the night, um, opening the doors of the train and just seeing India moving with me, and it was really really fascinating. And I think that puts that seed inside me of a traveler, that I must go, and this is something I love and I want to do for my whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering how on earth do you get a train and then keep it for 6 months?
Yeah, this was a job. I had to do an exam and then do an interview, and I was somehow selected. I don't know how, but I was selected and chosen for this amazing experience. And yeah, it shaped me a lot.
And it was a very long journey, wasn't it? As
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say,
6 months.
6 months. And it demonstrates, doesn't it, how large India is.
Yeah,
That you,
exactly. You get to see the farthest parts of India, and even sometimes you couldn't believe that India is so big that even though I have traveled so much, still there are millions of things left. And I think it can't be seen in one life. Like you have to keep rebirthing. In Hindu, they say you have to you rebirth. So I have to take 2, 3 rebirths to even see India properly. Yeah, that's like a blessing.
Yeah. So what did you see then that I mean it's almost an impossible question, but what did you see on your journeys that surprised you on that journey?
Like in India is so vast that your culture, your food, your language, your clothing, it changes after every 20, 30 kilometers. So before the journey, I was just a small girl from a small town. So I didn't know, I could see the maps of India, but as physically, you can't imagine that India could be so big. But when I went there and I see so much of culture, like before the journey, I used to think that this is the culture of everywhere, like where I'm living, because there was no social media back then. So a little girl would imagine that this is the whole world, this city or this state is the whole world. But when I went there and I saw so many cultures, it surprises me, amused me that there are so many people, so many languages, so much of food to eat, so many places to see, such amazing landscapes and weathers, that it inspired me to keep moving and keep understanding new cultures and meeting so many amazing people.
Yeah, so I imagine, as you're saying, that the landscapes
Yeah, yeah.
in India are very different, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So in India, in 24 hours, you can go from beach to mountains or you can go to deserts. We have the hot deserts and we have the cold deserts, all kinds of landscape. I think any landscape you can imagine, you can find some part of it in India. Like I have so many foreigner friends when they visit India and they'll keep mentioning that this place looks like Mexico, this place looks like Switzerland, this place looks like Scotland. So India is a mix of everyone and everything. So that's like amazing.
Yeah. But the purpose of the journey had it had other objectives, didn't it? After all, the
Yeah.
second train you went on was a science express. So
Yeah.
what was behind that?
So the objective of that journey is to showcase different parts of India and distribute that knowledge to the kids, school kids mainly. So everywhere we'll go, we'll stay for 2 or 3 days, and the schools of those places are notified by the government and the people, because it's a government project. It was a central government project, and so people, so all the kids, all the schools will get a memo, and the kids from all those cities and neighboring villages and everywhere, they'll come and they'll come to see the train and they'll ask hundreds of questions. And sometimes as a crew member you'll have to be present there and you have to answer them and meet all these. And because you are with the train and you are wearing a particular uniform that you belong to this train, they were so fascinated by you that they'll want to take pictures and they'll want to know everything that you know. So it was a fascinating experience to be nurturing India's minds, like young minds who may or may not get the chance to go out. But with this train you can put that small seed, curious seed in them, to that the world, India is so big and you must go out and you must know, and there are so many opportunities in the world and you can choose your home anywhere.
Yeah,
So that was the main purpose of the thing, that and there was also a science section where kids will come and they'll perform all kinds of experiments. So yeah, it was actually a curious seed that you have to plant to these kids, so they'll want to know more.
yes, and of course that's the right time to
Yeah,
inspire minds, isn't it?
yeah,
Uh,
I wish I had something like this when I was growing up. We didn't.
and I imagine that even within India itself, the people live differently, don't they?
Hmm.
It's culture within culture.
Yeah, yeah, many, many, like even if you take a small region like Himachal is a mountain state of India where from the starting to the end, they're all Himalayas. It's a part of Himalayan range. So when you go in Himachal, there are like 12 districts inside the state, and in 12 districts, there are 22 official languages. So you can imagine how fast the language changes. Like even the neighboring village will not know their language. So it's so fascinating that so many cultures live together and with harmony. Yeah, they fight and all, but overall, it's a peaceful environment when people are accepting each other's cultures and foods and clothing.
Yeah,
And this is why I think the world loves India, because they can never see such a mix at such a small place.
yeah. One thing I noticed when I went to Thailand was that they like elephants, and of course,
Yeah,
uh, elephants are also important in India.
India. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
can you tell me a bit about that? And did you see many on your journey?
Yeah, so in South specifically, lots of temples they do rituals around elephants. So if you go to Kerala temples in Kerala, they'll have routine these rituals where the elephants will be an invitee and they'll be part of rituals. They'll also perform the rituals, and it's beautiful to see. Same is when you go towards the Chhattisgarh side in India. There are so many elephant sanctuaries and people come to ride on them. And in almost every small town in India, like we have this childhood memory where a guy will come with a small elephant, and with few bucks you get to ride the elephant. We all have this childhood memory, so elephant has been a part of our lives. And we have this uh, our one of the gods, Ganesha, whose face is an elephant. So elephant is and will always be a part of Indians' lives.
Yeah. Um, from Europe, it's always believed that elephants never forget anything. Is that also true in India?
Yeah, there are lots of stories. There is a movie recently they made on elephants, where elephants just come and they bonded with the family, and they always come every day to play with their kids and to be fed by the grandmother of the house. So in lots of places in India, especially in South, elephants are parts of their household, and there are elephant corridors where elephants are protected from the traffic. And there are lots of videos and documentaries on elephants in India, because in India animals are actually a part of our lives, especially in villages, especially in the countryside. Animals will always be our household friends, the dogs and the cats and the elephants and the even the tigers and are part of Jim Corbett. There's a national parks which are dedicated to tigers. So they have become friends with humans and they live in this cohabitant situation. And I think people are more happy when they are surrounded by animals.
Well, it's something that perhaps is been lost elsewhere. That connection with the
Animals,
nature.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why they have to have the cats now, because it's a human need to be connected to animals. So they can't be connected to big animals. So cats have now become a household. Dogs and cats have become the household pets.
yeah. So how does that how does the culture manifest itself in larger cities? Because it's not so easy to get be close to nature in big cities. This is
Yeah, so that's why the dog adoption has been a high rise in India, because people are like people are getting not very curious about the child anymore. They don't need a child or they don't need lots of children in the house. So they are compensating it with the cat or a dog, and adoption agencies and people sell and buy dogs in India. So in big cities, this connection is because it is establishing with the dogs and the cats because they can't have the big animals. Like I also have a dog. Also, you used to foster a cat, and lots of dogs and cats like they come and meet, like friends, random friends. So yeah, like in cities, they'll have to cope up with the cats and dogs. In countrysides, in mountains, we have other animals
Yeah.
which we can meet and be friends with.
Now, one thing I read about you is that you like reading.
Yeah.
Um, so, what do you get out of it?
Um, Reading, like when I was growing up, so we were not very economically sound, and reading was one way to see the world, to know about other people. So it always fascinated me to have books around, and I didn't had. So I used to go to this shop where of books and novels and just stand there talking to the shopkeeper, and he let me read some journals and he let me read the books. So I put that in my head that when I grow up, when I start earning my money, I'll have lots of books. I'll make a big library. And I have started making it. I have some 200, 300 books now, and slowly collecting and reading and collecting. So it's a beautiful getaway, much more useful and productive than social media. And books has helped me to improve my language also because I was in English. My English was very weak because I studied in a Punjabi medium, in Hindi medium school, and we didn't had, like, I only knew may I go to washroom and may I come in, these two phrases when I passed my high school. So books has helped me to improve my language. Books has helped me to grow up and to open my mind. Yeah, books has been a really instrumental in my growth.
So, what kind of books do you like?
So I don't have any preference. I'll start anything. If it interests me, I'll keep going. Or if it doesn't, close it and I'll start another one. I keep reading books on my phone also if I don't have it on in physical world. And they're like a scoop for me to see the outside world or to go into a fantasy world. Like in the starting, like Harry Potter is one of my favorite books. I have read all the Harry Potters like hundreds of times. I knew word by word where is it in what page, because and it has also contributed to my writing skills because then I understood that you don't have to write in a particular way. In books, authors write in so many different types, and you can write in your own voice. So books has helped me, and Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling has helped me a lot to become a writer.
Yes, I think creating as well as reading is very
Mm.
is a fun thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
has storytelling become more important to you then?
So, just like reading books, I love talking. I can talk for hours and hours. You'll have to stop me. So, storytelling came naturally to me because I always wanted to say something, and the best way to say something is to tell a story because then everybody will listen. Okay, like she's telling a story. If you're just saying it casually, people may or may not take take you seriously or take interest in it. But if you tell it like a story, they'll always want to know what is the ending, so they'll pay attention. So that was my starting of my storytelling journey, and it grew from there. Then I started going on stages to talk and to tell story, and that has been the best experiences where you tell a story and people and even before finishing, you can see that expression on their face that they want to know what's next, and how is it going to end, and the excitement, that spark in their eyes. And I always loved that, to be the center of their curiosity. So that's how storytelling came to me. And yeah.
So how have you connected the storytelling to your traveling? Was that kind of
Yeah,
the
so
next
I
thing?
have the so I volunteered for a long time, for almost 6 years. I traveled throughout India and volunteered in various places, in hostels and homestays. And all there's always a creative space in these places where travelers want to listen to your stories, and they want to know what you did when you went to certain places. So that's how it came. And I started doing these small sessions where I'll sit in the evening for an hour and just tell stories to people, and they'll listen, and they'll ask questions, and then more stories will come with these questions. And it's really nice. Travel stories are the best.
Yes, it opens people's minds, doesn't it,
Yeah,
to
yeah, it
new
does.
possibilities.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I guess that's also how you got into speaking then, by
Yeah.
just telling stories.
Just loved talking. I wanted a chance to speak. When the stages came and asked me to talk, I was more than happy to go there and talk my heart out. And none of my speeches ever completed in the time frame, because I always had so much to speak. It always go half an hour or an hour more than the time frame. And people let me talk. And it was nice. And I kept talking.
Yeah. Well, I think if the audience likes the story, why not?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So one of the things I see that you can tell me whether you're still doing it is you're a global ambassador. Uh,
Yeah, so this was an organization called Peace Through Tourism. So they wanted to establish this thing where people from all cultures would come together and share their stories, so they'll know each other more and they'll hate each other less. Because when you know someone, you understand their situations, you start liking their backgrounds and cultures, and there'll be more peace. So this organization, they came to me, and we did this huge event in Hyderabad, and I was one of the guests of honor. And it was one of the biggest stages I got, because so many representatives of from so many countries and cities came, and it was an honor to talk to these people and to make sure that this organization will go out and will do some amazing work in the world, where we'll establish the world peace in some ways, or at least put a seed in people's mind that peace can be attained through tourism.
yeah.
Then the COVID came and it sort of shut down. But yeah, the idea is still out there, and someday we'll start again and start these journeys.
So do you think there's a lot of misunderstanding between people?
Yeah, when you don't know someone, you always fear them. Or when you don't know someone's culture, you always have this assumption that they may be harmful to you. But when you start knowing them, and when you start having conversations with them, you'll understand that most people want to have a peaceful life. They don't want the daily hatedness, or they don't want the instability. So that's why this organization like Peace Through Tourism was very instrumental in their work, because it was starting a dialogue. When people start knowing each other, they'll stop hating each other. They'll be more curious about each other.
So, do you think there may be other barriers which this could help with, like for instance, um, how to travel, um, how to travel sustainably, perhaps, or
Yeah, this, like, people, for example, people have lots of notions about India. Like, they say women are not, it's not a women friendly country. Like, the world is not women friendly if we see from that perspective. But I have been a example of this because I have hitchhiked a lot. I've hitchhiked for 6 years with trucks, with random strangers in India, and I have felt safe. I have been to all these remote places where you travel for more than 10 hours with a stranger in their vehicle, and you're safe. So this is a this is the part where traveling, where the information helps. If people would know the travel, that it's a safe place and how you want to travel, like if you plan accordingly, then it will be safe, and then you can travel to the whole world. No country is unsafe in that sense, but there's very less information, and there's a lot of misinformation about everywhere. Like, for example, for US, lots of people think that because of this gun violence, US is not safe for Indians. But it's not that. Like, their majority population of immigrants is from India. So it's like a mini India lives in US. It's same as UK. You had an Indian prime minister, for God's sake, and there was a time that India was a part of UK colonization. So when people get to know this information, and when people travel to these places, then only they'll get to know that these most of these places are safe, and they are just different cultures. But this, and about the sustainability, so yes, sustainability doesn't go hand in hand with the capitalism. That's the fact. So a big hotel chain would not want you to be sustainable, and the big travel agents who obviously who are earning a lot of profits from these travelers would not want you to be sustainable. They'll want you to spend maximum you can. So if someone wants to be travel sustainably, they'll have to choose the small entrepreneurs and small enterprises, and they'll have to choose the small homestays who run on their own, not from the big agencies. It's up to people how they want to. They'll have to research more if they want to travel sustainably. But most people don't have the time or the energy to go and have this kind of research. So they'll choose the first agent that comes to their mind, or that looks good on their reviews, and they just go with that.
yeah. Do you think the roles of travel agencies and consultancies have had to change, or do they need to change? Do you think?
Yeah, they'll need to be more sustainable, and they need to be human friendly, not just the money friendly. A lot of people comes into travel business because they think that it's a very money making industry. But I think money can be made from anywhere else also. If you're coming into travel industry, your main motive should be how you are going to be part of someone's memory. Even if you are not there, you are planning someone's whole trip, and you are planning a memory of a lifetime for them. So unless and until you don't have that kind of mindset, you should not work in the travel industry. You can make money from anywhere else.
Yeah,
That mindset needs to be changed. That it's not just money; it's memories. When it will change from money to memories, the quality of travel agents and consultancies will change.
yeah, yeah. Memories are very important, aren't they?
Exactly.
I think of my early childhood it is the emotional senses that you
Mm.
use the most before you learn how to speak and to write. Um, that's why childhood can be a very special time
Mm.
for that reason.
Like,
So
yeah, yeah,
so you say that you like solo travel.
yeah.
Um, so how does it work out for you? Do you see? Is it because you see more, or tell me how it works for you?
So what I have observed is when you are traveling in a group, or even if you're traveling with one friend, you'll keep talking to your friend, and your friend will keep talking to you, and that's enough. So you'll go in a cafe and you'll talk to each other, and that is it. And you'll order something, you'll eat, and you'll leave. But if you're going alone, you can read your book for some time, but then you'll have this urge, because we are humans, we are social animals. We'll have this urge to talk to someone. It may be your server, it may be your manager of the cafe, or it may be another solo traveler, or anyone, or just a dog just passing by. But you will have this urge to talk to them or to have an interaction with them. That is what proceed me towards solo traveling, because it gives me a chance to talk to more people and to interact with more people. Because when you go in a group, you will just be in your own group, and you'll not even talk to a local person. What is the point of traveling if you're not talking to anyone local, or you're not trying anything new because your friend is afraid and your friend thinks that it's not nice, or that person doesn't look appropriate or something, and you just talk to your friend then. So I don't see a point in it. Matlab, I obviously, like, I have traveled with friends, but I have always traveled with friends who are of same mindset, who will want to talk to people, who will want to know about the local cultures and local dishes, and who I can leave, like, we if I'm going with two three friends, there's a good chance that in between of the day I leave them for some time and I'll go solo, because I want to experience things alone. And I would like if they'll also like it. If they'll also want to go solo and for some time for a walk or something, and talk to other people. In groups, people can't do that and don't do that. That's why I encourage everyone to travel solo at least once in a year or something, so they can really see that place. If you if someone goes to a place with a group and solo, they'll have different experiences. Same exact same place. So everyone should try it, and they'll see the difference. You'll also get to know when you're solo. You'll also get to know how responsible you are, because in a group you can put responsibilities to other people, but when you're solo, you'll get to understand that I have all the responsibility on me. I have to take care of myself, I have to take care of my belongings, and I also have to create experience for myself. I have to take myself to these places. So you'll know how well you can do that, and how well you can manage you on your own. So it's a life skill. It teaches you life skills.
Yes, it sure does. Um, so can you pick another impossible question? But can you pick a few experiences then as a solo traveler that you felt that you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have experienced uh, other than being solo?
So the first experience is like hitchhiking. You can't hitchhike in a group, and when you hitchhike, you get to meet like so many people, and you get to have so many different. Anything could happen. Like, I used to be a dentist. I studied to become a dentist, so I have the medical knowledge, and I get to use that medical knowledge when I was hitchhiking alone, because you often in remote areas you often find people and animals injured, and you get to You don't have to ask someone, ki, should I go and help them? Would you be okay with that? It, it's you only. So you, if your instinct says you want to go and help, you'll help. Mm, this is one. And like, I go to these, like, I have this instinct that I'll see some place from far down and I would want to go there. I don't want to have, I don't like to have this thing where I have to take it permission from someone that should I go or should we go, and would you like to go there? I would just go. I would just start walking in the direction, even if I don't know the location, even I don't know the way. I'll just start walking, and I'll have this confidence that I'll figure it out. And somehow it always ended up well. And that is what separates a group and a solo travel. Then when I travel to the northeastern parts of India, being a solo traveler, like people appreciate you. Like as an Indian woman traveling alone, people appreciate you. They are more open to you. They don't take you as a tourist. They'll take you as a true traveler, and they'll want to take you in to their houses. In a group, you can't do that. People won't take you to their houses, and in my case, like I have been so blessed where people have taken me to their houses and they don't let you eat, they don't let you leave, they'll feed you like anything, they'll force feed you because they think you're thin and you're lean and you must be malnutrition and you are traveling alone, so you must be insane in some way. So let's feed this girl and let's take care of her and let's shower abundance of love on her. So that is something you get to see in solo, which as a group they'll always take you as a tourist, and they'll always think that if you can't take care of yourself, then someone else will in the group will take care of you. So they don't pay attention to you. But when you're solo, they pay attention to you. They want to know your story, and they want to see where is this courage coming from that you're traveling alone, or is everything all right with you, you're not having a bad breakup or something. So the people would be more curious about you as a solo, and they'll open up to you easily.
So you touched on it there. Curiosity is a
Yeah,
very important element of being a traveler.
yeah.
So, would you say you have a good sense of direction then? You say you kind of have this 10,000-foot view of where you'd like to go next. Um,
So I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm on the way. So that is what I have applied on my life, and it has been a wonderful experience to just follow your curiosity. If something excites me, if something makes me curious, I would want to know that, and I would go any lengths to understand that. And this thirst of knowledge and this thirst of curiosity has kept me going, and I think that's the axis of my life now, to follow my curiosity, because I'm a very easily bored person. I get bored very easily. I don't do routines. I don't do mundane things. So I have to have new things every day. I have to have new people, new conversations every day. Otherwise I'll start rotting from inside. So I know that, and now it becomes the mantra of my life to just follow everything that makes you curious, makes you excited. And this homestay that I'm staying in, hosting in Spiti Valley in Himachal, that is one part of solving that curiosity, where you get to meet new people every day. And living is not actually living where you, when you travel every day, where you go to new places every day and you get to have new conversations every day. So I really love that, and I'm just following a girl following her curiosities.
yeah. So it doesn't sound like you always have a plan. Then it's more you are more spontaneous. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I'm very spontaneous. If like if I like something, if I found something interesting, I go after it. I'll chase it, and even if it goes badly, I'll take it as an experience and found something new. So I don't plan things, because when I used to plan, it never goes that way. And I understood that about life, ki it will never go according to a plan. So stop planning and start living. And now I do that. I live, I dream, I I make the big dreams, not the small ones where you know your destinies, but you don't know how to get it, how to go from it. But you just start walking, and you have this belief that you will reach there. And somehow I always do. So I have this strong sense of manifestation. So I don't go plan, I manifest. And if it goes with my energies, and it just appears. It always be.
Yeah. So I think I read somewhere that you consider yourself to be unconventional. Is
So I have
what you
always done things which was opposite to what was expected from me. So while I was growing up in my household, they always have this thing: either you become a doctor or an engineer. I became a doctor because by that time I didn't have the resources to do what I wanted. But after understood that I have to go behind my curiosity, then I have to go behind what I like, because no one else will do that for me and no one else will understand. I started following this unconventional path where I went from dentistry to these amazing projects, and then went into startups, and then went into volunteering, and now into travelpreneurship. It has been a very unconventional journey, and I love it, because I don't think the conventional journey would have suited me. I would have ran away from it, or did something really bad to me, or would have changed my personality to a very dull person, which I don't like. I can't be dull. So I have to be unconventional to be this.
yeah. So these days you like to help other people, don't you? So uh, tell me a bit
Yes,
about that.
I do this small classes, courses, or workshops where I teach people what I know about manifestations and energies, what I have learned from my experiences. Because lots of people are trapped in their own mind, and I was too there. And lots of my colleagues and friends, I've seen, even my families, I've seen they are trapped in their mind and they can't get out of this, and they take things so seriously. Right now, I teach people how not to take life so seriously, and to understand that these energies can be shifted. Your life can change anytime you want, but you have to have the courage to do that, and the universe will follow. But the first step is in your own head, where you have to free yourself from all these notions. So now, somehow, people believe that I can help them elevate from their mundane lives, and to really get what they want, or at least go near it, or even start chasing it. So now, this is what I do in in my side hustles, where I do these workshops with people, and I'm grateful to be able to help these people realize their own power of their own minds.
Mm.
And it's beautiful when you see these positive changes in their life, and when they call you and they say, "Ki, Shubhra, remember we used to talk about this, and now I have manifested this, and now I've changed my life, and now I've changed my job, or got out of that abusive relationship, or got out of that awful dull job, or had good relationships with my partner." So it feels really nice. It feels that energy is coming back to me in some way. It helps me also amplify my energy and elevate my own.
So it sounds like the way people think has a great influence
Yeah.
on everything else. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so especially like when I was growing up in India, they always give you this set of notions for a women specifically, that you can read, you can become anything you want, in that sense, like you can have any job in the world, but at the end you are a woman, so your only thing you can do is get married, have kids, and that is your only job. And I used to think that in my head, when and with growing up, with going to all these projects and going to see the world, I get to know that it's not true. Like, we as the women also, like women are as human as men, and we can do as much as a man can do in the world, and we can contribute, and we can also think for ourselves. In India, like mothers will teach their daughters that you have to be selfless, always selfless, never think about your own happiness. But that's not true. If you are not happy, how can you make other people happy? So that is what I learned from my own experiences, that first be happy in with yourself, then only you can spread happiness, or then only first care for yourself, then only you can take care of other people. So this is the mindset in India, where people teach you to be selfless, but they never teach you to self love. So I want to change that. I want to change that, not just in India, but the whole world. Whoever thinks that they can't be selfless without they being, they'll understand, they'll have to understand that you have to do the self love, then only you can be selfless, then only you can help other people. So you have to change your mindset in that sense, where you can understand that choosing your own happiness is not selfish. It should be the way of life. It should be your life goal, any more than anything else. Because if you are not happy, what is the point of anything, actually? If you are not liking your surroundings, if you are not liking your partner or your child or your friends, then what is the point of being with them? So that mindset needs to change, and I'm here for it. I keep doing whatever I can to change this mindset. If not all, I would change few people at least, and it would be an honor to be a part of their happiness, and to teach them how to be happy for themselves before anyone else.
Yeah. Well, it's a lovely goal. Uh,
Thank
so
you.
when it comes to traveling, then um, what do you recommend for people who want to travel more, that perhaps are wondering whether they should or they can? What would you say to them?
Anyone can. This is not some rocket science where you have to be really smart to do it, but it's a matter of if they want to or not. If they want to, they should find a way. If the money is the problem, they can always volunteer. Obviously, volunteer is not that luxurious. So lots of people don't travel because they think they don't have the money, or they want to travel in a certain way, like they want to travel in a travel and go to the big hotels, and to go to big beaches and be a luxurious travel. But if you really really want to travel, the cheap travel is the best travel, because you get to see the real place, the real side of these places, because hotels never show the real sides of any place. So if you want to really travel, you have to travel cheap, and you have to travel, you can go and volunteer, you can go hitchhike. Like, I have traveled almost without money for a long time because I didn't had money, but I wanted to travel. So I volunteered. I cleaned dishes, I have cleaned other people's bathrooms, I have taken care of their guests, I have cleaned their vomits also. Because you just have to, you do whatever it you can to survive. And I volunteered, I've hitchhiked. I was When I started hitchhiking, I was shit scared because they always say that women are not safe in India, and how can you go and travel with random truck drivers? But because that's the cheapest way for me, that didn't cost me any money, but it cost me a lot of courage. And when I understood the courage you can generate from free from yourself, it doesn't cost you anything. So when I generated it, it gave me so much freedom that I can travel without, I can literally travel whole India and survive till my last breath without spending a single buck. You can volunteer and hitchhike. Of course, it's uncomfortable because you're in someone else's house and you have to play by their rules. But it's also freeing in that sense that you're free of this notion that you need money to travel. And trust me, volunteering is the best way to see any place, to live for a longer time, and to become a part of this community. Now, because of volunteering, I am part of hundreds of communities. I have hundreds of houses across Himalayas. I don't pay to stay anywhere in Himalayas. I just have to make a call that I'm coming, and they'll be more than happy because they always want me around. They always want people. People always need people, good people or happy people around. So if you're a happy soul and if you are with good intentions, there'll always be a place in these homes and in these places for you. So this mindset of people that they can't travel because they don't have the money or they don't have the time, make money. If you think money is so important, make money for it, save. Don't waste it on fast foods. Make your own food so you can save money. Live in smaller houses or live in the cheapest houses you can find so you can save money. I have friends who just travel for 6 months, travel for work for 6 months like a dog, and then travel for 6 months, just going to different countries and living there for 6 months. And that's a beautiful life they live. Of course, they suffer for 6 months, but the freedom of that other 6 months is so much that they just go through with that. So, yeah, anyone who wants to travel, they can travel and they should travel because life is too short. Till you have grease in your knees and spirit in your heart, you should travel because we are not meant to be stable somewhere. Someone once told me if we were meant to be stable, we had roots like trees, but we have legs. So we should be moving always. And that is what I follow. And everyone should
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, actually. Yeah, we
Mhm.
are not trees.
Mhm.
I like standing next to trees, but I can't take them with
Yeah,
me.
exactly. I want to see lots of like if you ever come to India, like there are lots of places in Northeast where you will find the oldest trees in the world. And they are so big, their trunks are so big that even 50 people making a human chain, you can't hug that tree. They are so huge and it's so beautiful. So we are meant to see all these places and experience this. That's why the world is so beautiful. That's why the world is not just of blacks and grays. It's made of so many colors and so many landscapes. So humans are bound to go and see these landscapes and experience it and see the world is bigger than them.
Mm. And you seem to have an interest in the rural mountains. Is that a part of India that means something to you?
Yeah, so I live in a rural mountain now. It's on 12,000 feet. It's a small village in the cold deserts of India. And rural mountains still have, still they're very remote and still very untouched from that main civilization stream. So when you go to these places, the life is very simple. It's just food and water and just conversation and very less of internet, very less of social media scrolling. It uncomplicates your life. It uncomplicates your thoughts and mind. And that's what I love about these places because it takes you to your core and you forget about all these random complexities of the life. When I go to cities, I feel un this unknown pressure from I don't know where it comes from, but I always feel this pressure of like chasing life, to have a house, to have a car, to get married, to have kids, and still it's never enough. Nothing is ever enough in cities. You always feel that you have less. But when you go to these rural mountains, the life is still in its 50s, and it's very simple, and people are very simple. They want to have these conversations, like everyone greets everyone, and they'll want to know you, and you know all the dogs, and all the dogs know you, the cats know you, and they'll just greet you when you're passing. And I love it. I'm an old soul, and I love that part of my life where thing is very less complicated, and I want to keep it that way. That's why I love the rural mountains.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes we do. We have a habit of complicating our lives,
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah, yeah. Overcomplicating, over consumerism. We always think we have less clothes and we have less things. We want more, more, and it's never ending. Living mountains, like, you have a good meal, you celebrate every good meal. You celebrate the water coming in. You celebrate small, like, picnics. It's a very small thing, but it has almost vanished from the city life. You don't experience the change of season, you don't experience autumn, and you, you are always busy. But in these rural mountains, you notice every single change. You notice the coldness in the wind, and you notice the first leaf that it's now changing color and the autumn is coming, and you see the first budding of the flower that spring is coming. That is something like beautiful, and I think we all should experience it to understand this is the essence of our human being.
Yeah, I think we should all go out and experience nature at
Yeah,
least from time to
exactly.
time.
That is what we are made of. Nature has made us, but we are forgetting it, and we are just leading to these complexities of and needs and greed.
So something slightly different now. Um,
Mm.
do you get inspired by other people? Um,
Yeah, all the time. So small, small things, like, even even if someone is like, I get to meet these amazing travelers in my journeys who are not on social media, who are not making vlogs, actually traveling. I have friends who like cycle from Italy to who are cycling from Italy to Mount Everest, and they are just living their lives. And in you can't find these people on social media. They are not influencers, but they're actual influencing everyone who they meet in their lives. And it's so inspiring. You meet a 90-year-old lady who still goes out and works and is really happy and have hundreds of grandchildren, and she's doing fine, and then you meet this single 90-year-old lady who's also happy in her life, and who smokes weed every day and chilling out in the mountains, living in her small hut, don't give a fuck about anyone. And these people inspire me that you can have all kinds of life. You don't have to seize to these social norms that you to get married and to have children if you don't like it. I get inspired every day from random people just doing their own things, and you just see them and you get inspired that okay, this is also a way of life, that is also a way of life, and you can make your own way of life. You don't have to follow anyone else's path. That is like really inspiring. I have a 60-year-old friend love living in Germany, and she's cycling through the world. She she work for some time, and then she'll go take her cycle with in some new country and cycle the whole country, and then come back to Germany and earn some, and then again go back. to some other country and cycle through. And yeah, there is inspiring people everywhere. We just have to open our eyes.
It's interesting what you say, isn't it? Because almost random people that you can meet on your own journey can be
Mm.
inspiring. They can inspire people without realizing they are
Yeah.
inspiring people just through their own
Mhm.
action.
Mhm. Yeah, just being themselves, being their true self, they inspire. That's why I love these rural part of mountains, because the people there are not influenced by social medias to dress up, or they don't follow some celebrities to dress up. So everyone is unique. If someone is from childhood they like to wear hats, they'll wear hats. Someone who likes to have shiny clothes, or someone who likes to wear some certain kind of clothing, they wear it. They don't change because the trend is changing, so they don't follow any trends. And that is what inspires me to be myself, to be your original self, and to find what you actually like, not what these celebrities are telling you that you like. This is like amazing. It separates you and it makes you your own person.
Well, absolutely right. I think people forget how unique we all
Mm.
are. You know,
Exactly.
there's no one been like us before we arrived, and there won't be anybody like us after we move.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so whilst we're here, we should rewrite our own history.
Exactly.
I did see that you did like a post about an Olympian who was shooting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
because he was really amazing, really cool as a cucumber. He came without any, he was changing this notion that you can do anything. He has been a shooter from a long time. He has been trying to going for the Olympics, has never won anything. But this time he didn't wear any gadgets, came in a very basic t-shirt and looked really cool, and just shot and just left and won a silver medal. I really, really love that guy. And that's why I think the world also loved him, because they wanted to be as cool as him. But most of them can't be. So they loved the guy.
yes, and it's just because he was being himself.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the celebrities, if you see, after they get the fame and the money, they start showing their true colors. Because then only they start thinking that people will like, because they have the money and the fame now. But I say ki not everyone has to go to that level to show their true self. You can just keep showing it from the starting. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to dress in a certain way. If you like, if you like it, just wear whatever you like. Be however you are. And if someone really wants to be a part of your life, they'll accept you. Like, I'm a very straightforward person. In India, it's not a good quality for a woman to say what comes into your mind. They want you to have filters. But now I know, like, there was a time of life when I started putting filters in on my tongue, because I thought that people won't like me. Then I understand that someone who won't like you, they'll never like you. Even if you're original, even if you change for them. Like, I have in my past relationship, I have changed for people, and later to realize that someone who wants to go, they'll go. Even if you change for them, even if you do whatever they like, they'll do. And whoever wants to stay, they'll always accept you who you are. Now I say whatever I like. It can, some people say that you are rude, but people who really understand that I'm someone who never lies, who don't like lies, because I have been lied a lot. So I don't like lies. So whatever if I don't like you, I'll say you on your face that I don't like you. Please don't talk to me. Please go from here. I don't want to meet you again. And if I like someone, I'll go and directly tell them that I really like this conversation. Let's keep doing it. So people who are original, they like your originality. They'll appreciate in this fake world of social media. People like originality. They like someone who says the truth.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's wanted, and frankly, it's needed more than ever, isn't it? Uh,
Exactly.
as you say, there are many people who want to present themselves in a certain way, and we don't always see people's true nature. And
Exactly.
so, um, well, we're almost
I can
time.
talk for hours. I told you
Yeah.
I don't have, like, I love having conversations with new people. So this is what we do in rural mountains. Like when our guests come, sometimes like we'll have time, we'll have a tea or a coffee, and we'll talk for hours and hours about everything and anything. And I love it to have that kind of time and freedom in your life where you can just talk for hours. It's the ultimate freedom, I guess.
I think it is. I think it's having conversations with other human beings is a
Mhm.
wonderful activity, and
Mhm.
it's very much part of our inner
Evolution.
self. Yeah.
Yeah. But
To
if when two people talk, a new idea comes up because they're having a conversation. You're putting your mind, I'm putting my mind, and then there's a new thing which comes up. I think that is the basis of human evolution. People have forgotten about it or use it less now, but I think conversations are basis of our evolution. When two humans were getting cold, they invented fire. When they wanted to work something, two people came together and they invented the wheel. That's how our evolution works in my head.
mm, exactly. Well, it's been absolutely fabulous talking to you, and
So,
I wish you well on whatever you choose to do next.
thank you. Same to you. I wish I would like to invite you to India someday, and I would love to show you around if you have time. Because yes, you gotta see it. Your ancestors have seen it, so you have to come and see it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, thank you very much, and very much appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Namaste from India.
Thank you.